Hell yeah.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Hotlap. I'm Caleb. That's Tyler, where we talk about all things F1.
What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of Hot Lap.
Episode
It is
4.
race week. It is race week this weekend. Thank God we had a dead week between Mexico and now Brazil, and it's been hell. But we're back. We're back on it. So excited.
I'm excited too.
Um, oh yeah, let's get started. So we talked about this in the last podcast episode, but cost cap that complete. I guess somebody must have made that up or something, or maybe they did some investigating or what. I don't know exactly what the specifics are, but turns out McLaren and Mercedes were not guilty of cost cap
And that just
violations
reminds
that
me
didn't go over.
that just reminds me of last episode when we talked about the hack. Like, we actually delved into it. It was like, "Oh, it really wasn't anything." Like,
It was like a safety check.
it was a safety check, and they're like, "Okay, somebody could have made off with like and Max Verstappen was named a lot in that, but it was like, oh, somebody could have made off with Max Verstappen's passport details and his address, but they didn't, like, because it was some sort of safety check. I'm like, man, come on.
Dude, yeah. Okay, so what I'm starting to recognize more and more is that you cannot believe everything you see F1 related on social media, because when you look into some of these posts and what they're talking about, this is clearly just clickbait, a lot of them, a lot of these posts, because, I mean, we're able to debunk these things pretty fast if you just look into it and do like a simple Google search. So
But it's all the
I
buzzwords,
guess
all these famous, well, semi-famous F1 pages. They use the buzzwords. They're like, oh, Max Verstappen got hacked, blah, blah, blah. But it's almost like tabloid magazines, right? You'll read them, you'll
yeah,
see the catchy headline, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, like, But you look into it, and it's not really anything. It's a nothing burger.
dude, literally, yeah. So we've just been spoon fed nothing burgers. Max Verstappen passport data leak, that was complete bullshit. Cost cap violations, complete bullshit. I think the only thing that actually happened is Aston Martin might have done something and they got like a fine. They might. I don't think it was cost cap that they even violated though, but they did something else last year. Otherwise, nobody really like was guilty of it. Um,
Yeah, I think they got
so that
close or something like that. They got close to breaching the cost gap, but like they didn't, and it's like, oh, well, big nothing burger. Oh well.
yeah. Not exactly sure what the details were with Aston Martin. I didn't look too into it because I'm not too invested in that team. But Echo.
Sorry, yeah, sorry, I forgot my volume was up. I'm trying to monitor chat right now.
Oh, you're good. Anyways, yeah. So guess we don't have to worry about that. And I guess for the viewers, make sure that you're skeptical about what you see F1 related on social media. Because, like Caleb said, it's like tabloids, dude. Like you clearly don't like you don't realize what you're getting into until you like actually look into it and do your research. But that's that.
Always ask questions, and that goes for anything, really. Like, don't take anything at face value. Always ask questions. Like in my line of work, we have this saying, trust but verify, right? Somebody tells you something, okay, you're gonna trust it, but go back and verify that it's actually what it is. You know? So always
Yeah.
trust but verify. Always ask questions. Don't just take everything you hear at face value. You know?
Yeah, and that's the problem with like social media, I feel like, especially like nowadays, like as long as you like project something confidently enough, people will just like buy it. And it can be complete something that's like completely wrong. And like you could say, I don't know, you can make up anything you want. I'm not even going to make up an example because it'll probably get spun, but you can have your imagination go wild on this. And as long as you project something confidently enough as like a post or a reel on Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to do, there's going to be people that just buy it and don't look further into it.
You could say Beyonce has cancer, and you could make up some AI images of Beyonce in a hospital room, right? And people are like, "Oh my God, Beyonce! I hope you get better. Hearts and prayers, yada yada yada."
And they comment, and then they repost.
Exactly, and that's how that's how people farm views and farm clicks, and it's just like they make up some outrageous headline, and then boom.
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that here at Hot Lap. We only do the honest reporting here.
Semi honest.
Semi-honest. Man, what?
We definitely do bias reporting. That's fair.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely. I'll agree with that because I'm a D1 McLaren hater. But besides that, uh, it might be biased, but it's not false.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Might be biased, but it's not false. Put that on a headline. Just it might be biased, but it's not false.
Yeah, no, literally. Oh man. Um, so moving on, I really quickly want to talk about the Mohammed Ben Sulayem lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
Now, I'm not as well versed as I can be on this subject, but from what I understand, um, the F1 community, we all pretty much hate this guy. Apparently, he's awful. I can't name off the top of my head why everybody thinks he's awful, but he is. I know for a fact, like the no cuss word thing. That's a really dumb rule he made, and is it only like public explanation of it is him literally just being like, "Well, Muhammad Ali was the greatest, and he didn't cuss," and it's like that we know about. He wasn't in a car going 200 miles an hour racing against other people.
Yeah, but he was also beating other people half to death. You know,
Yeah, there's not a lot of talking that you do.
not a lot of talking. It's your fists do the talking in that sport. And I love Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is one of my favorite athletes of all time. He's a big inspiration to me. I love Muhammad Ali. But that excuse is just like, come on, man.
God dumb. It's not even the right sport. It's not even the same sport.
It's not even the same sport. Like, I guarantee you, behind closed doors, he definitely cussed. Like 100%, he would cuss. Now, for the cameras and for the press releases, absolutely not, because he wanted to portray this image of like, hey, especially back in those days, right? Like hot off the heels of segregation, and it was still happening in some places, right? Like you had to portray this kind of like I'm educated, I am not stupid, and a lot of people back in those days kind of perceived cussing as like, oh, this guy's stupid, he doesn't really know, like he's not dirty or filthy, but like he's
Like
uneducated.
uneducated.
Exactly. And I feel like that's why Muhammad Ali was the way he was. And he spoke very eloquently. It was clear that he was very educated, a very smart man. And he stood up for what he believed in, which I think is phenomenal. But I think to make a rule like you can't cuss, why not? Because Muhammad Ali never cussed. Like I think that's kind of stupid.
It's stupid. It's retarded. I think it's dumb. And apparently, like he's pretty like I guess tyrannical with his presidency of the FIA. And there were people that were running for president of the FIA, and I think because of this really obscure rule that was in the rule book, where you had to name like six different people that you would have as like your vice president or something like that, which is a lot of people, by the way. Um, then you like couldn't continue to run for presidency of the FIA, which is crazy because we're not talking about a country, we're talking about a motorsport governing body, which is just this is just beyond silly to me.
I mean, a
Um,
motorsport governing body which is worth right around the same as a lot of countries' GDPs.
Real. Well,
So,
regardless of the point, I'm not gonna glaze Muhammad like you, Caleb. No, I'm just kidding. But
my bad for having an opinion.
yeah, no, I'm kidding though. Okay, so no, but so Laura VRs
Why
was a
are you
candidate that was
booing me? I'm right.
don't boo me. I see what makes you cheer. Laura VRs was running for presidency, but she, I guess, wasn't able to continue running out for presidency of the FIA because this obscure rule, the vice presidency rule, and I don't know what else, if that was just the only reason or what, but she does not seem like she thinks it's fair, and she is suing the FIA for unfair practices because Mohammed's been in office as president of the FIA for a decent amount of time now, and people don't like him. People don't want him there. So, I mean, I think the lawsuit definitely has merit to it, and I think hopefully we start to see some change from the lawsuit if it gets pushed through correctly. But time will tell on that part. What do you think, Caleb?
I mean, I doubt it. It seems like he has a pretty firm grip on the FIA. I think it'll make waves, and it might lead to a little bit of change. But right now, I don't think he's going to give up the presidency just yet. I think he's going to try to hang on to it as long as he can. He's going to find some loophole, right? All these, and I'm not equating him to a dictator, right? I'm not doing that. But people in
Dictator.
power, but people in power love to stay in power as long as they can, and they always find loopholes on how to do it. So I really think that he is going to find some sort of loophole to keep him in power, or to keep him at least president of the FIA, because he earns a fuck ton of money being the president of the FIA.
Oh yeah, millions.
And nobody wants to give that up. Who would want to give up millions? You know?
Nobody. Yeah.
Exactly.
To your point, yeah.
So I think he's going to find some sort of loophole to either stay in power or to get somebody that he's close with in that position. That way he could still bank off of it. You know?
Yeah.
But that's just my 2 cents on the issue.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I need to look more into the lawsuit with Laura Villares, but does definitely seems like kind of shady and sleazy with like you needing to like do all these things and jump through all these hoops just to like become president of the FIA. So,
it's like the people in power make it hard for the people who want to replace them because they want to stay in power. So they make up all these BS rules, these BS, hey, you got to do this and this and this and this and that just to even have a chance at running. And then they, if I think there's an election that happens for the FIA president, and of course they rig the election because duh.
Yeah.
So it's like, they make it hard to get to that point. And then once they're at that point, they're like, okay, well, we're still going to rig the election, so you're not going to make it anyway.
So, fuck you. The FIA is also not just getting sued for the presidential nomination. It is also getting sued for the Filipe Massa 2008 Crashgate scandal. I know you're excited to talk about this. You've done a lot of research, and you educated me on this. So take it away.
I am very excited to talk about this. So I was cruising and perusing through Instagram, trying to find things to talk about for this week, because obviously it's been a dry week. We all know this. And yep. I heard stirrings of Filipe Massa, suing the FIA for something that happened in 2008. I have not been into F1 since 2008, so I didn't know about this. I was like, okay, I'll look into this. I looked into it, bro. So first of all, Filipe Massa is suing the FIA and the former president of the FIA, Bernie Ecclestone, for Ecclestone. Sorry.
It's Eccleston.
No, it's Ecclestone.
Dude, whatever. Okay.
So, Filipe Massa is suing the FIA and my man Bernie for $82 million and wants to be recognized as the 2008 WDC championship, or WC championship. The case was reopened this week. Now, the defendants argued that, hey, it's too late. It's, this happened in 2008. Like, what's going to come of this? And
what to the people that don't know, what happened in 2008?
So in 2008, Crashgate happened. So Crashgate. So there was a driver by the name of Nelson Piquet Jr. who drove for Renault. This was Singapore, I think. I think it was in Singapore.
Yeah. It was Singapore.
He intentionally crashed his car into a wall to allow his teammate Fernando Alonso to take advantage of the safety car and get ahead, right? Now, at this point, Felipe Massa was leading pretty comfortably. And so during the actual safety car, he took the advantage to pit. Who wouldn't, right?
Right.
Well, so when he pitted, whenever he was leaving the pit, the fuel hose was still attached to the car. So he,
Because they could refuel back then.
yeah, before everything started exploding.
Yep.
So the fuel hose was still attached um, to the car. So he sped off, right? Got to the end of the pit lane. They told him to stop. They had to push him all the way back to the Ferrari garage. Remove the. He also hit one of the engineers when he was driving away. I think it was the fuel hose that actually hit the engineer. So he didn't hit him with the car. But anyway, pushed him back. Now he had to serve a penalty for doing that. Because of that penalty, he finished P13, earning 0 points in that race, right?
And he was originally leading the race before the safety car.
Originally, yes, he was leading the race, a pretty comfortable lead. I can't remember exactly how big the lead was, but it was a pretty comfortable lead. Got knocked all the way down to P13 because of the penalty. Finished the race at P13, earned 0 points. Flash forward to the end of the season, Lewis Hamilton wins the championship by 1 point. A singular point. And Filipe Massa at the time was like, oh, okay, it is what it is. That sucks. Damn. Turns out that Nelson Piquet Jr. was acting on team orders and crashed his car deliberately into the wall to give Fernando Alonso the chance to get ahead. And the FIA knew about this. They knew about it. And they did nothing, absolutely nothing to rectify the situation, to make everything fair, to make everything equal. And that's what Nelson Piquet Jr. is suing the FIA for. He's like, listen, you guys knew about this. You guys deliberately basically fixed the race and fixed the championship unfairly to where it wouldn't turn out in my favor. Now, I don't think they were targeting him at all. I don't think that. But the fact that they knew about the crash, they knew it was deliberate, and they didn't do anything to be like, hey, you guys get a penalty for crashing on purpose.
Well, here's the thing: they did do something about it. That's the thing. They gave Nelson Piquet Jr. a race ban, so he cannot participate in Formula One. He was the guy that purposely crashed his car, so he was banned, and they also banned Flavio Briatore. The FIA didn't have anything to do with the team doing that. They are not involved in the race fixing that Flavio had planned out with Nelson. But they did find out about it, and that was the punishment that they issued. Now, granted, to your point though, as of today, Nelson Piquet Jr. still is banned from Formula One, but Flavio Briatore eventually, I guess, got wiggled out of his ban, and now he's the team principal for Alpine. So there's that. So, they didn't do as much as they could, but they did do something about it. Nobody got off completely scot-free. Like, that guy got a race ban, so.
But here's the thing I find most interesting is that Filipe Massa has gone on the record multiple times saying, hey, listen, this has nothing to do with Lewis Hamilton. I think he's one of the greatest drivers of this generation. He's a phenomenal driver, one of the greats of F1. This has nothing to do with him. I don't want to take away from anything he's done, but I have lost sponsorships. I have lost millions of dollars because of this. When if I had won that race, I would have won that championship because it was by 1 point. He's like, if I would have won that race, which I was supposed to, I would have won that championship. So I feel like I'm owed that. I'm owed those millions of dollars. I'm owed those sponsorships, and I'm owed the 2008 title. But here's the thing: Lewis Hamilton won by 1 point. So that proves Lewis Hamilton, he put in the work, and he's just as good a driver as Felipe Massa. he put in that effort. So I feel like, yes, Lewis Hamilton is deserved that championship. But at the same time, if Felipe Massa hadn't been slowed down so much, and granted, the FIA didn't fix his pit stop, right? That pit stop fucked him in the long
Yeah.
run. So it's a very weird moral gray area. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
to
mean,
think.
you can look at it from both sides, and we've talked about this earlier today. But like you said, it is morally gray, and he doesn't want to take away Lewis's championship, but at the same time, he's still kind of doing it if he's making the motion to sue the FIA and try to get his world title. And you can make the argument too that like while this fixed race happened with those corrupt team orders, despite like everything happening, Lewis Hamilton still won. He didn't cheat or do anything wrong, regardless of this happening. So I mean, at the end of the day, he still won it fair and square, and it just sounds like Felipe Massa is kind of being a sore loser because you can look at it like that. Um, and another thing too is like it's like would the intention have like changed it? Because what if that guy still crashed Nelson Piquet Jr.? Like, what if what if it was just an accident instead of on purpose and it still caused the safety car? If it inevitably happens, but the intention was different, I mean, would you be suing the FIA? I don't think you would be. And you wouldn't be trying to get your championship back. You would just be upset that you lost by a point. So, I mean, you can look at it from that end, but on the other side of it, points probably shouldn't have been awarded to anybody. Like it should have just been like a null and void race because it was fixed. Um, and if you subtract everybody's points from that race, null and void the race in Singapore for 2008, and look at who has points across the rest of the championship season. Well, then yeah, you would want to give the points to Felipe Massa and have him be world champion. Um, like I said, there's two different ways you can look at it. I don't necessarily have like a set opinion on whether or not I think Felipe's lawsuit should be continued. We're going to find out this week if it's going to be dismissed or not. I think it's like in the UK's High Court that they're doing this lawsuit in.
Yeah, that's
So
where it
like,
is.
yeah, so we'll have to see just what comes of this. But as of right now, like, I mean, you could make the argument either way that like, you know, a null and void race because it was fixed means he was the champion, but also at the same time, if the intention was different, if just the mental intention was different and the same circumstances happened, well, then you probably wouldn't be suing anyways. So,
Well, to that point, right? It allow me to play devil's advocate here, right? To that point, you can say "what if" all day. What if a unicorn hopped on the track and then Lewis Hamilton crashed, right? The point
yeah,
is that it did happen and it was intentional and it was fixed. So where do we go from here? Right?
that's true.
There's no sense in playing what ifs because we know that it was intentional and it was fixed and the FIA deliberately didn't do anything and Louis Piquet Piquet Jr. Nelson Piquet Jr. deliberately crashed into the wall to give Fernando Alonso that time. Whether or not that had any effect on Felipe Massa's pit stop, whatever. But I think we can all agree that it was intentional. And so where do we go from here? Because they could prove that in court. Because there is interview evidence of let me go back to my notes. I have his name here.
While you're looking at that, I just want to mention really quick. You know, the race did happen this way and it was fixed, right? But I am saying that, like, if the mindset was different and this thing still happened because it did happen, I don't think he would press these like lawsuits or anything like this. If the mental idea of what was happening behind the crash was different, then I think that would completely change how he would be conducting himself right now in court. He wouldn't probably even go to court if just the mindset behind the crash that happened, because we cannot argue that the crash didn't happen. It absolutely did happen and caused this, right? But I'm just saying, whether, we know it was fixed, and I'm saying even if it wasn't fixed, the crash still happened. And because the crash still happened, you know, I'm just kind of saying like tough luck. I'm kind of erring more on that side, if anything, but I'm still kind of trying to just stay neutral.
Sure, and I agree with you on that front. Like, yeah, if PK Jr. didn't deliberately crash into the wall, okay, I probably wouldn't take this to court. But the reality is, he did deliberately crash into the wall, and so where do we go from here? But no, I agree with you though. If he unintentionally, like if he actually lost control, accidentally crashed into the wall, and things played out the way they did, I would be like, oh, okay, it's nothing. Okay, damn, I lost out on my championship. That sucks. Oh well. And it was, and like I said, it wasn't even the crash that was the fault. It was the slow pit stop because he took off with the fuel hose in his car still. But I think his argument is that, okay, well, even if I didn't have that happen, the crash was still deliberate. Still would have slowed me down. But I agree with you. If the crash wasn't intentional, I would chalk that up and be like, damn, that sucks. Damn, I lost that. So I do agree with you. But you have to look at it from a realistic point of view. It did happen. It was intentional. Now here we are. And it was my boy Bernie E. Ecclestein, however you want to say it, Bernie E. But they had an interview with my boy Bernie, and he admitted, he's like, yeah, we knew that it was intentional. We knew that Nelson Piquet Jr. crashed his car deliberately. And then in court years later, he's like, I don't remember saying that, when there's clear evidence that he did say it. And it's like, brother, what are you doing? Like,
yeah,
you're literally caught in 4K right now. You're barbecued, boy. Like,
oh yeah. See, the thing is, like, given the circumstances, like, I lean more on Felipe shouldn't have really brought this to court, and that he should have just let it go because it's been 17 years.
It's because you love Hamilton.
However, listen, listen, okay. I love Hamilton. That is non-disputable. I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan. I don't want to see him lose another championship.
His first championship, mind you. That was his first championship.
Yeah, that was his first championship. Nelson Piquet doesn't even want him to lose it, but at the same time, I don't really just agree with it. But why I'm neutral is because I'm an FIA D1 hater, okay? And, we know the FIA is corrupt. We know the FIA sucks. And we need reform to happen. This lawsuit is a great way for reform to happen, because a fixed race is not how a sport should be conducted. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. We should never have fixed sports. I know it happens. You can't control that. But if we find out about corruption publicly and we can, take it to court and do something about it, then I'm absolutely a huge proponent for that. So that's kind of why I'm neutral. I think for like racing purposes and racing circumstances, he should just drop it. But me also knowing that the FIA is awful, I want him to continue and hopefully win the case, because fuck the FIA.
And I 100% agree with you on that front. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, do I want Lewis to lose his first championship? Absolutely not. But do I want reform to come to the FIA? Abso-fucking-lutely. That needs to happen. And I think this is the first step in really calling more attention to the FIA. Being like, hey, listen, these guys are fucking corrupt. Let's get the president out of there. Let's elect a new president. I think these two lawsuits are kind of the first stepping stone into getting reform into the FIA to make racing fun and fair for everyone. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's the main goal in all this, is to try to make racing fun, F1 racing fun and fair for everyone. Because you spend millions upon millions of dollars to get into the sport, to make your cars, to make, pay your drivers. And when your drivers are getting treated unfairly, even though they're trying their hardest because of some unknown bias or some like, oh, this isn't good for views, that's shitty. That's horrible. So I think the FIA needs to do a better job in being more fair and impartial when going racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
And this is the first
Uh,
step to doing that.
yeah, I think we need to see people win lawsuits against the FIA, and that will spark reform that is much needed. And hopefully, we can see a fairer, cleaner sport in the future. That's what I want to see happen personally. I know you want it too. Most fans, I feel like we all want that to happen. It's just a matter of getting it done. People need to step up and make this happen, and we're just gonna have to wait and see and just hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've heard that sentiment before. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I don't really believe in that. I just say hope for the best, because, yeah, they say, oh, prepare for the worst and you won't really get hurt. No, you're still going to get hurt either way if you prepare for the worst.
This has been philosophy with Caleb. All right, back to racing.
Back to racing, mate!
Racing. Oh, man, I really like that you put this. So Williams actually has a new logo that they just announced, and it's super small, but it's worth mentioning. I'm a Williams fan. Mercedes is my number one, but Williams is my number two.
I do
They're my
like Williams
underdog.
too. Williams is definitely the underdog. Like, if Charles Leclerc raced for Williams, I would literally come. Like, it would be a wet dream for me, for real.
Yeah, no, there's not a team that I believe in more than I do Williams. And like I love Mercedes, but like I really believe in Williams. Um, so they're going back to, I believe, their old kind of W logo that they used to have, maybe back in like the 90s or like early 2000s or something. And they're embracing their prior racing heritage. And I think it's just really cool to see.
And I saw it. I saw like a video of it when they announced it, and it's like it's because you know how their logo is now. It's like kind of equal like the W, but their new logo is going to be more forward facing. It's going to be like almost like this, where it's
Yeah,
like
it'll
the
be like slanted.
yeah, and that's how they used to have it was like the slanted forward W, and they're kind of they're bringing it back to the heritage of Frank Williams and whenever he started the team and you know I think it's really nice to see them return to form, especially because they're like this season compared to their previous seasons, they're doing super good. Like you would never know it because everyone's always looking at the Ferraris, the McLarens, the Mercedes, the Red Bulls, but they're actually doing really good for the first time in a long time. I mean, they got their first podium in a long time with Carlos Sainz this season.
Yeah. And it's just been like amazing since James Vowles took over and became team principal. Like little history lesson for the people that don't know. Williams was like a failing team for such a long time, and they were like near bankruptcy until James Vowles took over. And you know, the team was just completely unorganized. They had parts lists on Excel spreadsheets from like Microsoft, like Excel or whatever it is, like the old Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
This team was completely unorganized and they weren't doing well and they were going to go under. But James Vowles used to be the second in command for Mercedes during their golden era, where they won 8 titles, if you count all of Lewis's and then the one that Nico Rosberg got. So James Vowles knows what a destructively dominant team looks like because he was just under team principal, but he knew that Toto Wolff wasn't going to forfeit being a team principal anytime soon, and he wanted to become one himself. So he got the offer to join Williams, and he's taken all of the knowledge that he knows from Mercedes AMG and applied it to Williams. And the first couple of years, he didn't even concern himself with the team getting any good positions or anything. He said, and you can find this on Instagram pretty easy, but he's literally just like break everything these first couple of years. I don't care like what you do. We're never gonna have this chance again. Break everything and learn as much as you can. And the team has been restructuring themselves ever since, with their models and systems and stuff on like the business end, and also on like a racing and engineering end as well. And they've just been on this massive come up because they've allowed themselves to just, not basically, chase this carrot on a stick of trying to get a world title with like inferior systems and models and strategy and cars and stuff like that. They're literally just, seeing what works, taking it and applying it, and, just taking as many risks as they can so they can learn from it and grow as a team. And we're seeing that year over year over the past couple of years. James Vallis has been team principal, and they're now becoming a contender. They're fighting for fifth in the constructors championship, I believe, right now. And I think with the new regulations, we could maybe even see them start to climb up even further until maybe they even win a title. Probably not within the next few years, but who knows? I could be pleasantly surprised by that. Yeah, that's kind of where we are with Williams right now.
And I
And
love. Oh, go ahead.
their logo is a reflection of their change too. So, they're constantly changing, they're constantly improving, and they're constantly working on getting back, and they're not stopping anytime soon. And
And
you were going to say?
I love what you said. Well, what Val said. Break everything, right? Take risks. Wear the fuck out of this car. Wear the fuck out of everything we have, so we can know what our limits are. We can know what your limits are, and we can build a better car around you. And doesn't Williams get their power units from Mercedes anyway?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so I think Williams is in a really good spot. I think they're looking ahead to maybe 2028, 2029, like a WDC or a Constructors Championship those years. And I think that's a very good spot for them to be looking, is that far ahead, because right now it's because I mean you have their slump for the past, I don't know, however long, with Pastor Maldonado being one of their worst drivers ever. I mean, he would crash like almost every race. Like that man was. I was watching a video on him the other night, and dude, that man is awful. And the only reason they accepted him onto the team was because they needed money for, to actually stay in F1. And he was. We could talk about that in another video. If you guys want to see that, please let me know. I would love to talk about Pastor Maldonado and how of a shit racer he was. But no, I think they're very good to look ahead to the future, to 2028, 2029, maybe shooting for podiums or shooting for a championship those years. And right now I think they're in a very good spot where they're building up. They did their crash test, essentially, their crash test dummy phase. Now they're rebuilding, they're taking their lessons learned, and they're in it for the long haul, which I very much respect. Right, because you have your McLarens, your Red Bulls, your Mercedes, your Ferraris. They're already at the top, and they're like, "Oh, come on, like let's do this, hell yeah!" Like, we're only going to be competing with each other. But then here's Williams sneaking up from behind, saying, "No, I'm a contender. Let me have a couple seasons to get there, but I'm a serious contender, like I used to be. Put some respect on my name,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I really love James Valls as a team principal because he's just the most like open and honest person I've seen who is in like a role like that on social media, because he will walk you through every aspect of the races that Williams has gone through as a team, and he will own up to all of their mistakes, and he'll own up to their successes too, and he'll just be very matter of fact to the point with it, and he'll just be like, yeah, we had this happen, and this happened, and that's why we failed during this race. But we think we're going to do good this race, and we think we're going to do bad this race, and so on and so forth, right? So just, I don't see any other team on the grid at all doing what they're doing as far as like that communication with their fans. And I would like to see more teams do that, because I think he's setting a very good standard for what a team principal should be.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it was, I think, last race, or maybe it was qualifying, where Carlos Sainz got a DNF, and he was just like, oh no, it was the race, wasn't it?
It was the race, yeah, Mexico.
and he was just like, here, like, this is what happened. This is the suspension issue, yada yada yada. Like, he went through everything. Even a layman like me can understand it. You know, I'm not even that,
Yeah,
like, I'm into F1, but I'm not completely in. Like, I haven't been in it very long. I've only been in it since, like, what, the Dutch GP this year. You know,
yeah,
and so, I mean, he put it in terms where even I could understand, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And so, I think that is a very, very good trait to have, especially if you're a team principal. You can go on social media because, I mean, at the end of the day, your fans are your, they're your bread and butter, right? If no one's gonna watch, there's no reason to race, except if you love the sport. Which, if you love the sport, hell yeah. I love the sport. I love watching the sport, but like, you know, we need more drivers that race for the love of the game. But at the same time, if no one's watching, no one's getting paid, and a lot of those racers, they're after the bag. I don't blame them, but still, let's just look at it realistically, right? But I'm glad that he
yeah.
he really connects with the fans and he says, "Hey, listen, this is exactly what happened. This is what we're doing to fix it, and this is how we're going to proceed next race." And I'm like, "Oh, cinema, absolute cinema."
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just amazing to see. And, they are a long-term hold. Like if I was to like look at it from like an investor standpoint, I would definitely invest in Williams for the long term because I only see them going up.
Absolutely.
Um, the other teams, I might see them fluctuate, between each other, like McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes. They all fight each other, like you were saying earlier. And they don't really concern themselves with any of the other teams. But Williams is just kind of focused on themselves and staying in their lane. And they have issues. They fuck up, but they own up to it so well and they work on fixing it. And, it's just phenomenal to see. Like James Wells said, we don't sell fizzy drinks, we don't sell cars. We're Williams and we are a racing team. Uh, and I just love it. I love that they specifically only do racing. This is all they're working on. They don't have any plans to expand and do anything else. They just race. And I think it's a great thing to see because it means they're not just selling hats and jerseys and, Legos to make money. I mean, they're just focused on the racing. Yeah, it's like a byproduct. It's a way for them to like make some side income, but they don't have another product that they're trying to sell and doing racing just to sell that product. So I'm a huge fan.
And I love that you mentioned that because he did say that. He's like, we don't sell fizzy drinks. We don't sell merch. We don't sell this. We race. And I'm like, I heard that and I almost creamed my pants. I was like, oh, that's so right. Like, that's awesome. I love a team principal and I love a team that does that. They're real about it. They're like, listen, we race for the love of the game. We don't race because we want to sell other stuff or we want to make more money or we want to do this. We race because we want to race. That is
Yes.
like if I was ever lucky enough to get on an F1 team and Williams was just like, we want you. Oh, dude, I would. Oh, like, forget Ferrari, forget Mercedes, forget Red Bull. I would love to race for Williams. I just love their mission and their how down to earth they are. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, Williams is my first pick. Mercedes is obviously like they have a more dominant car and it'd be easier to win, but it wouldn't feel as satisfying unless if I was racing for Williams personally.
Yeah, that's fair. You'll get there.
Yeah, we'll see, right?
In
Um,
other news, my boy Leclerc got engaged.
dude,
For
all of Instagram posted about it. All of us are like so happy for this guy. Holy shit.
Ferrari finally got a win.
This is the first Ferrari win of the year. Charles Leclerc getting married. Well, engaged, but yeah.
I wish the best for Charles Leclerc and his fiance. That is lovely. I mean, I love weddings and I love marriage. Like, I even considered, and I'm still considering, like, getting ordained so that way I can perform weddings and stuff because I love weddings so much. Weddings are so fun, and seeing people that like truly do love and care about each other, devoting themselves for the rest of their life to each other, like that's something about that's just powerful, man. Like, It's just you feel the love, and it's like, ugh. Like I've been, God, I've been to probably 5 weddings now, and I love it. And I got invited to a wedding. So sorry, tangent. Um, my friend, his name is Alderic. He's from Mexico, and he doesn't speak very good English. He speaks enough to where he can like get the meaning across, but he's not fluent like you or me. Um, and so I'm talking to him at work, and he's like, "Hey, como se dice the guys that stand like next to the groom while he's at the altar, or next to the guy that's getting married while he's at the altar?" I was like, "Oh, well, the guy that's getting married is called the groom, and the guys standing next to him are called the groomsmen." And he's like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah." Because my wife and I, because his wife, she's from Mexico. He's trying to get married to her so that way she can get her naturalization. She can get her green card essentially. And so he's like, yeah. What I'm thinking is like we're already married legally. I'm trying to get her naturalized and get her over here. I was thinking she's gonna live here for a year, and then we go back to Mexico, and then have a wedding like through the church, like and have an actual ceremony. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. He's like, yeah. And so I was wondering if you wanted to be my groomsman. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Yes. And so he's like, okay, cool. Because it's going to be held in, I think he says, Guanajuato, Mexico. And so in like a year and a half, I'm going to Mexico and being a groomsman at like one of my good friends' weddings. And I'm like, oh, dude, like, I love it so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for him. And I just love weddings so much, and so I'm really happy for Charles Leclerc that he really found somebody he wants to spend the rest of his life with, and go him. That's just I can't contain it.
Yeah, yeah. Charles has been dating Alexandra for a while now, and it's good to see. It's good to see that he decided to put a ring on it. I know all the F1 fans are like, it should have been me, but it's whatever.
Carlos Sainz, it should have been me, not her.
Dude, yeah, literally. No, so bro literally won in like all categories of life. He was just born and won the lottery. Born
Yeah,
in Monaco as a Monegasque, which is insane. Became a Formula One driver, also insane. Now he's getting married, and he's also not just a Formula One driver, but he's a Formula One driver for one of the top teams. And I would honestly say one of the most hyped and iconic brands on the whole grid. So,
yeah.
I mean, I love to shit on Ferrari because I have a lot of fun doing it, but no other team gets idolized as much as Ferrari does. Let's be real. So, I mean, bro came out of the womb and won.
I mean, but I'll have to do more research, but he didn't always have it that good. Like I think he grew up poor, and he grew up like not really knowing what was going to happen, and then he got into go karting, and then I think his dad really got him into go karting, and then like he just took that track to F1. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say he did grow up poor though, which you know.
Yeah. I just assume if you're born in Monaco, you're rich, but I don't know anything about Leclerc's history. You probably know more than I do. So I could be a very real possibility.
I'll do more
But either way,
research.
right here, right now, Charles Leclerc won.
That man,
First Ferrari title of the year.
first Ferrari win all season.
Yeah.
Ferrari
Speaking of
won two
Ferrari,
at wedding.
Ferrari won two at wedding.
I would laugh if
Oh,
I mean it's probably not gonna happen, but I'd laugh if Lewis Hamilton was his best man because then I'd be like Ferrari won two at wedding.
that would be fucking funny. That would be such a good meme.
Uh,
1-2 at wedding.
Ferrari won two at marriage. Speaking of Ferrari, I heard
Yes.
through the grapevine. I don't know if it's true. It's possibly a rumor. We'll have to dig deeper into it. But I heard that if things don't work out with Lewis Hamilton for the 2026 season, they're eyeing Behrman or Russell to take his spot. That's what I heard. I can see them kind of eyeing Behrman because honestly, Behrman is really not a bad driver. He's a pretty good driver. He's just in a shit machine. Let's be honest. Haas really has a shit machine this year. But
They're not they're not in like the best spot they can be. They're a newer team and they're an independent team like Williams. So they don't have the budget to really make a championship winning car, but Ollie's proven he's been a pretty good driver.
I mean, even last race, Ollie Behrman, what you doing at P4? Like in a Haas
What the hell,
machine.
Behrman doing?
What the hell? In a Haas machine, P4. You know that just kind of speaks to his skill. I think if he had a better machine, he would. I'm not gonna say he'd get podium. We'll see. But I feel like he would be kind of P4, P5 more consistently if he had a better machine. I think he's got got a lot of good instinct and he's got a lot of skill as a driver. I feel like the machine he's in hasn't been able to show off that potential that he has because he does have a lot of potential. And I feel like after Charles Leclerc, if I was to root for a driver, I would root for Ollie Behrman. I do
I
like
him.
him.
Yeah, I like Ollie. The FIA thinks he's an enemy of fucking Christ himself for
The
some
enemy
reason.
of
I
the
don't know.
state.
Dude, no, like they won't. He was like one like penalty away from like a race ban before Mexico. He did not deserve any of that. I
You
don't
were
care what anybody said. He does not deserve any of that.
you were even talking to me about that last race. You were like, dude, the FIA thinks he's an enemy of fucking Christ. And I'm like, yeah, I see it.
Dude, yeah, I don't understand their problem with him, but he's a great driver. I want to debunk the George Russell part of it.
Okay.
They very well could be eyeing George Russell for Ferrari, but I think it's leaning a lot more towards Behrman if they don't continue with Hamilton. And I can see why they wouldn't want to continue with Hamilton. But I'll get into that in just a sec. But Russell has a contract clause because obviously I'm an avid Mercedes fan. Literally have a flashing LED AMG light in my room.
You can see it on the Instagram.
Yeah, no, literally. So Russell's contract clause basically says that if he performs by a certain metric in 2026, he automatically is guaranteed for a seat in 2027 with Mercedes. And he wants to win a championship with Mercedes. He's actually very loyal to the team because, Mercedes is the reason why he's in F1 in the beginning at all. A little history about George Russell is his dad sold his business to, get him into racing. And at one point, his family ran out of money and he didn't know what to do. So George cold emailed Toto Wolff, not asking for a seat at Mercedes, but he asked him for advice on how to proceed with his racing career. Toto emailed him back, just said, focus on the driving. I'll figure out the rest. And he debuted with Williams first, which has been kind of known to be like the junior team of Mercedes. And after his debut with Williams, then he got moved up to Mercedes and got a seat. And he's obviously, for that reason, pretty loyal to the Mercedes-Benz team. And I don't see him going anywhere else for as long as Mercedes wants to keep him, he'll stay, pretty much.
And I kind of knew you'd say that because I did see something online saying like, oh, Ferrari's eyeing Russell, and I'm in the back of my head. I'm like, dude, he's never gonna go for Ferrari. He's too loyal to Mercedes. I didn't know the full reason why. Thank you for enlightening me. But I'm over here like he's too loyal to Mercedes. There's no way he's gonna go for Ferrari, especially when Ferrari are making a inferior machine to Mercedes at this point in time. But I think it's a very real possibility that Ollie Behrman could, if Ferrari offers him a contract, he'll be like, yeah, absolutely. Because he's going to be in low-key a superior machine. Maybe not the best superior machine. Out of Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari, Ferrari definitely has the lowest rated machine. If I had to rate them, Ferrari definitely has like the lowest rated machine out of the four, like the top four. But they're still a contender, and Ollie Behrman does have potential to be able to rise pretty far in Ferrari. And if he wins a couple podiums with Ferrari, if he has a really good season, that might open him up to other teams. Like, oh, Red Bull might want to scoop him up, but we all know how Red Bull is.
Yeah.
Or McLaren might want to scoop him up, and then we might see some respect put on McLaren's name, instead of having crybaby Steve and fucking, fucked up Piastri.
Yeah. Lando Norris and fucking Oscar Piastri.
Yeah.
Don't really mind Oscar, but Lando I mind.
See, and I remember at the beginning of the season when I first started getting at F1, you hated Oscar. You're like, oh, dude, Oscar Piastri's a fucking cuck. We want to root for Lando Norris. And then now that everything's kind of coming out, you're like, oh, dude, fuck Lando Norris. Piastri's not even that bad. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, because I got my first taste of papaya rules when I watched the Silverstone race. And I only understood like the narrow window I was looking at when I watched that race, because he did make a mistake though. He did brake really, really hard during the safety car, and Max kind of like went ahead of him a little bit, and he kind of fumbled it. And then he got mad, and he was like, "Well, can Lando give me my position back?" And they were like, "No." And just seeing that and like not understanding the context of papaya rules, I was like, dude, what? Who is this guy? Why would he ask that? And I was like, this guy sucks. But now understanding that it's like they regularly do this, and they're like, give him back the position because this minor inconvenience happened. It's like I can completely understand why Oscar asked for his position back now.
Remember how we go racing?
Yeah, I have a lot bigger of like a view on this whole thing now, and I don't really hate Oscar anymore because it's clear that he actually gets shafted quite a lot, and it's just Lando favoritism at McLaren HQ. So the Oscar hate faded away pretty fast after, I think, man, I don't even know when, but I think it was before the summer break. It like kind of faded.
It was semi recently. I want to say it was either before or maybe like just after summer break when you were like, you know what?
This guy's not so bad.
This guy's not so bad, for real.
Yeah, no. that's kind of where I'm at with him. With Piastri, I don't really mind him. Lando, I'm like, and Mexico, at least. I can't say anything about the other countries' fan bases, but the Mexican fan base, not a big fan of Lando either.
You even posted it on the story, like you could hear it. They're like, boo, boo. You're like, dang. Like, come on, man.
Dude, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, not a big fan of Lando. Unfortunately, I do think he's going to win the championship for this year, though, because we have only 4. Count them. 4 races left. And
Lin.
Yeah. So anyways, we have 4 races left, and we looked at that chart that I sent you, and Max Verstappen would have to get P1 all 4 remaining races.
He can do it.
Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. Doesn't seem likely to me.
He can do it. I believe in him. He can do it.
I don't think he can do it. He fumbled Mexico. He fumbled Mexico, and he had a 70% win rate in Mexico. So I think Lando's just going to take it away.
No. It's because the atmosphere in Mexico was different.
Well, it's Max dominant. That's the thing. He has a 70% historical win rate, and he fumbled it.
No. The atmosphere was different. No. He can do it. I believe in him.
We talk about this every episode. I want him to win, but I don't think he's winning, Chief.
We'll see. I got money on him to win. The viewers will know I got money on him to win, so I want him to win.
You heard it here first, guys. Hey, Caleb is losing money.
We'll see. We will see.
Hopefully I eat my words, but I want to circle back to the Ferrari eyeing Ollie Behrman thing. I mean, it makes perfect sense because he was in the Ferrari academy program previously before he joined Haas.
I forgot about that.
I believe Haas actually uses Ferrari, but no. think they use Toyota power units, but they used to use Ferrari.
I thought they
But
used Honda.
no, that's Red Bull.
Oh, that's right. Red Bull does use Honda power units. Yeah, okay. So I think they do use
Yeah.
Toyota.
But either way, before he went to Haas, Ollie Behrman was under like Ferrari's driver academy program. And he did a test run last year in the Ferrari F1 car, the SF24, and he did pretty well. But because they had obviously Lewis Hamilton coming in, they weren't going to have Ollie Behrman take the seat that could be left for Hamilton. Because we all thought that Lewis Hamilton was going to come into Ferrari and become aggressively dominant in Ferrari. Like, we thought it was really just going to be like a change of paint color, and Lewis Hamilton was still going to keep dominating. Not right. So, the thing is, we're going to have to see what Lewis does next year. I'm curious to see where he wants to go with Ferrari. He wants to stay with them long term. He has a list of grievances about what to fix with Ferrari that he's kind of like noted over this past year so far, that he feels like that Ferrari needs to fix. Whether or not Ferrari takes that into consideration and does something about it, that's a different story.
We'll
But
see. We'll certainly
Lewis
see.
does. He has a laundry list of grievances against Ferrari about what they're doing wrong and what they can be doing right. And you know, Charles Leclerc has been doing better in the SF25 this year, but he's also used to how the Ferrari machine handles and drives and stuff like that. So you can't really compare it when it's Lewis's first year in a non-Mercedes power unit car versus Charles's
Yeah.
one of his like years that he's been in the car.
Yeah.
He's been in the car for a while now. So here's the thing: if they're eyeing Ollie Behrman, and if that's not just something that's talked about in the pit, and if that's like concrete, because it could be complete fodder. Like, we could be seeing something like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, where this is just something some guy in the pit said to another guy, and now it's viral.
I completely agree. It could be a bunch of hogwash, a bunch of hooey. It could be a bunch of barnacles. But only time will tell. And I think Ferrari is kind of smart to eye Ollie Behrman, because he's a fresh young rookie. He's shown that he is proficient enough at driving. They just need to give him the machine. He has a history with them, yes. And I think they just need to. I think what needs to happen is they just need to give him a machine that can perform and that he can get used to. Am I saying he's going to make a podium in his first year with Ferrari? No. It would be great if it happened. I don't think it's going to happen. But I think they need to give him time to get used to the machine if they are eyeing him. But like you said, and like we said at the beginning of the episode, you can't trust everything you see online, and it could be a bunch of hogwash. It could be a bunch of just, someone saying this, and he said, she said, and, So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Lewis has plans to stay for can't speak. Lewis has plans to stay with Ferrari next year. Lewis has plans to stay with Ferrari next year, and I think he's going to be a little bit more confident under the new regulations with the Ferrari, the SF26. However, they've done sim testing on this Ferrari, and reports have come back that said they're not exactly thrilled about how the car is. I think it was from Charles Leclerc that said that. They're not very thrilled about, how this car has been coming along. So, with that in mind, it is absolutely the team. They're at fault, especially because they have the biggest amount of money given to them every single year, and they come out with pieces of crap, and they think that wiring should look like a spaghetti bowl for some reason.
Yeah.
It is completely on Ferrari's fault, but at the same time, also, if Lewis can't step it up, which, I mean, he's shown growth a little bit. At the same time, I can see why they're looking at Ollie Behrman, because Lewis hasn't stepped up. He hasn't gotten a single podium throughout the whole year. The only time he got a podium was in quali, and I think in Shanghai, in China. which is the second race of the year, by the way. So with this in mind, to be quite honest, I can absolutely see Ferrari, if he's not performing after like another year or two, then like he's getting the axe, dude, because he's aging fast. Like he's in his 40s. Fernando Alonso's in his 40s too. And yes, he's a seven-time world champion. Let's not dismiss that. But even when he was with Mercedes these past couple of years, he wasn't as dominant as somebody like Verstappen, who's younger.
And now in Aston Martin,
One,
he's bottom of the pack every single race. With Aston Martin, he's bottom of the pack. Like, I don't want to take away from anything Fernando Alonso has done, because he's a phenomenal driver. He had his prime. Now he's past his prime. I think it's time for, you know. And I don't want to say the same thing about Hamilton, because Hamilton really does still have some life left. But at the same time, he's not performing as well as he used to, especially not when he was in Mercedes, right? You said he's 7-time world champion?
He's a 7-time world champion.
Then he should just kind of, leave it at that. Maybe retire with some grace. Maybe run one more season with Ferrari and then retire with dignity. I think it's about that time, and he has done extremely well for himself. 7-time world champion. Like, how many people can say that? Exactly.
Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher. That's it.
Well, Michael Schumacher can't really talk right now, so.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. That was horrible.
That's just mean, man. Fuck.
I'm sorry. That was so horrible. I'm so sorry.
Holy shit. You did not need to set that bomb off. Fuck, man. I'm just saying, there was one other guy that did it. You fucking.
Well, he can't really talk right now.
Chat, I'm clipping that.
Caleb's getting canceled. Episode 4 of Hotlap. Caleb's canceled.
I'm canceled. I'm making this rage bait for Instagram.
Anyway. But yeah, I mean, besides Michael Schumacher, how many people can really say that? Nobody. So I think he really is one of the top racers of F1. So I think he should do one more season with Ferrari and then just retire with grace.
Yeah, I think he needs like one more season under the new regulations, or 2, pushing it if he does okay. But he's on his way out, and if he can't step it up and he can't start at least getting some podiums and some points, dude, he needs to get out.
Yeah,
because he's wasting Ferrari's time. He's wasting his own time.
Yeah.
And, when you have hot, fresh, young, new talent that can continually get better, and you're looking at Ollie Behrman, who is very young and not even in his like physical prime yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Ollie Behrman is a driver that you can invest. If you're looking at it from Ferrari's perspective, he's a driver that you can invest in long term and know that he's going to get better and better and better and better. And you can nurture him a little bit more than you can a more seasoned driver like Hamilton. Hamilton already comes with the experience, and he comes with the know-how and the skill. Not dismissing that. He is great. But his clock is ticking a lot faster than Ollie Behrman's.
And I think to that point, right, he comes with the skill of a previous iteration of the F1 car, of the F1 machine, right? Because like early in his career, when he was just learning how to handle an F1 machine, what he really practiced on was the old style machines, the V12s,
V10s, I think. No, I think it was V8s actually.
It was either the V8s or the V10s. He learned how to handle himself on one of those machines. And for these machines to be completely new, and then next year to be completely new again, I think, not saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but it's certainly harder. I think that 2026 would be one of his last seasons, and I mean, I would want him to retire with some sort of dignity and some sort of grace, and be like, hey, listen, I ran a good career. and this is it. I don't think I'm gonna like Daniel Ricciardo. He's like, listen, like I don't think I'm gonna return to F1. This was really fun. I ran a good career, but it's time for me to move on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you because I don't think Lewis Hamilton should go the way of Fernando Alonso. Um, Fernando Alonso is a two-time F1 champion. He is I believe, 24 hours of Le Mans champion, karting champion, endurance champion. Across the board, he's good at everything, and that's great. But he's with Aston Martin now, and he's not even like close to winning another championship. And I get that Fernando has like a huge fan base and stuff, but personally, I don't care for him. And
I agree.
his driving's good, but I mean, he's on his way out, and he's not going to be able to prove anything in the remaining years that he spends in F1. Hamilton is going in his direction, and
It's sad to
it's
see.
not that he can't it's not that he can't stay in F1, but it's like, what are you really doing if you're not accomplishing anything at that point? At least that's how I look at it. I look at F1 as more of like a purposeful type thing. I wouldn't really casually want to just stay in it just to stay in it, even if the money's good. If I stop winning championships after, number 7, and it doesn't look like there's any hope in sight after a few years, then, me personally, I think I'd get the memo. But, with
And there's
Hamilton, I don't know where his mind is right now, and I don't know where he wants to go.
and
But
there's nothing
that's
wrong
just
with
how I would look.
there's nothing wrong with gracefully exiting the sport and being like, "Hey, listen, I had a great career. I had a lot of championships. This has been really fun. I think it's time for me to take my leave and let the young bucks take over. I can't be world champion forever. Nobody can."
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those, I hate to always use this, but like, we're just going to have to wait and see.
We're
I
just gonna
always say
have to
that
wait and
every
see.
episode. Just have to wait and see. 2026 is when we're going to really have the full picture. We're going to have the back of the tapestry flipped over, and we're going to actually understand what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, if Hamilton isn't performing and I'm a Ferrari exec and I know I have Ollie, who has history with the team, I'd be like, all right, dude, your next contract clause is going to be either you hit a certain level of performance or you're out.
Yeah.
Get out. Because like, you're not, like, regardless of your history, we thought you were going to be delivering promising results to us, and you haven't. So this
Yeah.
is not working out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we can leave that episode where it lies. This has been episode 4 of Hotlap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you drop a comment, drop a follow, drop a like, wherever you are, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. We'd love to hear from you. If you guys want to ask questions about us, totally fine. We're here to answer. So, Tyler, you got anything to say?
Pretty much watch the Brazil GP. We're going to talk about it next Monday. And between now and the next episode, if you have any questions related to F1 that you want to ask us, you can leave it in the comment box. Last and final thing, if you want to be on the show, let us know. If you feel like you have something to talk about in the F1 realm with us, hit us up. We might have you on one of our episodes.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. And like you said, drop a comment on any one of our posts. If you have a question, if you want something you want us to talk about or something you want us to answer the next episode, we'll gladly get to it. And with that, this has been episode 4 of Hotlap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah, there you go. You got to get the thumbnail.
All right. We'll see you guys next episode. Bye.
Later.